Sand fir and Douglas fir. The range drains to the Columbia River via the Clark Fork River on the east and the Clearwater and Salmon on the west. The abrupt east slope is a fault scarp, difficult to access, and few main roads cross this range. To the east of the Bitterroot Valley, the Sapphire chain of the Rockies flank the river. 12,000 years ago, the slopes of the Sapphires were smoothed by the advancing and receding waters of glacial Lake Missoula. Deposits of mudstones and quartzites, tumbled and polished by the river for many millennia, compose the stream bed and provide habitat for the river's biotic community. On April 29, 1805, Captain Meriwether wrote in his journal comparing grizzly to black bears. It is a much more furious and formidable animal than the black bear, and will frequently pursue the hunter when wounded. It is astonishing to see the wounds they will bear before they can be put to death. The Indians may well fear this animal, equipped as they generally are, with their bows and arrows and indifferent fuses. But in the hands of skillful riflemen, they are by no means as formidable or dangerous as they have been represented. After Captain Lewis had more experience with grizzlies, this comment appears in his journal for May 11, 1805. These bear, being so hard to die, rather intimidates us all. I must confess that I do not like the gentleman and had rather fight 2 Indians than 1 bear. The specialized evolutionary adaptations of the grizzly bear have not allowed that omnivore to compete at all with the white man in the Bitterroot Valley ecosystem. Grizzly evolution adapted the bear to feed efficiently on vegetation. The molar teeth of the grizzly bear have become flat, grinding surfaces which closely resemble those of omnivorous pigs. Understanding the significance of this development is the key to grizzly bear ecology and behavior. The grizzly is adapted for heavy chewing and can bite hard. Since most chewing occurs on the molars far back in the mouth, powerful muscles have evolved to allow grinding by the molars. The jaws and teeth of the grizzly do more than eat green vegetation and berries. They must crush and grind tubers, roots, and bulbs. The grizzly bear is also an opportunistic predator and will prey on animals from ground squirrel to moose. After all, a successful grizzly is a well-fed grizzly. By the mid-1800s, however, the grizzly bear had been exterminated from the Bitterroot Valley ecosystem by professional hunters hired by federal agencies, livestock associations, and large ranches. Grizzlies were poisoned, trapped, and hunted on a full-time basis. No sign remains today of the estimated 100 grizzly of the Bitterroot Valley ecosystem.
Yeah.
I'm with the Pet Protection Agency, and we're going through your neighborhood right now, and we're letting people know the proper way to take care of dogs and cats in the winter months.
Oh, okay.
And for one thing, sir, keeping a dog inside of a car in the winter months is not the best of all ideas.
Right. Well, I was just going in the store for a couple of minutes. Didn't think it would be too bad.
Yeah, well, that's true, but oftentimes you forget about the dog or cat sitting out there, and you might start talking with a friend. You might drop next door to get your hair cut. After that, go pick up a few things across the street, the hardware store.
That's true.
Before you know it, your dog's been in the car 3 hours. Now, today is not very cold, but on some typical days, the temperature will drop 30, 40 degrees within a matter of hours. And the dog stuck in the car could easily freeze to death during that time.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And just want to let you know, same thing applies to cats. And also, sir, have you added any antifreeze to your car recently?
Oh, yeah, right before the cold months came up, yeah.
Okay. Sometimes antifreeze will collect in small puddles underneath the cars. Or when you're changing it, you'll sometimes spill some. And I just wanted to let you know that if you don't pick that stuff up, dogs, cats, and even children will often lick the stuff off the ground because it is so sweet.
Is that right?
Also, since it's bright green, it often attracts their attention.
Oh, okay.
And it's very deadly poison to the children and the dogs and cats. It only takes about half a tablespoon to kill a cat, and not too much more than that to kill a medium-sized dog.
Is that right?
That's true. And I was just wondering, do you own a pickup truck, sir?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Do you let your dog in the back of the pickup truck, right back there while you're moving around the city?
Sure, every once in a while, yeah.
See, sometimes dogs are thrown from the backs of pickup trucks. They might see a cat off on the side or a squirrel and perk up, stand on the side, you make a sudden stop, and the dog's thrown out. Happens pretty often.
Is that right? Yeah, I probably should do a little better job about that. Bring him in the cab with me.
That's true. And also, when it's very cold out, if the dog's standing in the back there, the wind chill factor, just the wind blowing by their ears and stuff, often cause their extremities to freeze to the point of frostbite.
I didn't know that.
And before you get into that car and start it up, you should always give it a bang when it's real cold out.
Why is that?
Notice that cat just run off there?
Yeah.
That cat was probably up underneath your hood there trying to stay warm.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that happens pretty often in this time of year, and if the cat doesn't wake up, when you start up the car, it can be mutilated by the turning fan belt.
Oh, that'd be too bad. There are a lot of cats that are in my neighborhood.
Yeah, so I'm telling you, it happens. Well, thanks a lot, sir.
Okay.
You have a good day.
All right, thanks.
Can I help you?
Yes, ma'am. I'm with the Pet Patrol, and we're going through your neighborhood this week. We're letting people know the proper way to take care of your dogs and cats during the winter months. And we have you listed down here as only one dog named Dexter and a cat named Socrates. Will you please show me where you keep these dogs, keep your dog and cat, where they sleep at night?
Sure, out and back. Let me show you.
Ma'am, this is Dexter?
This is him. We just got him about a week ago.
Okay. Well, for one thing, this leash you have him on is too short.
Oh, yeah? Why is that?
Dogs in general need a lot more room to move around. And also, he can choke himself when he's just got this short a leash.
Hmm.
Dogs like to move all over the place. The leash may be about 18, 20 feet, if not greater, would be a lot more ideal.
Okay.
In fact, you should even enclose the whole yard off if you're going to keep him back here. Give more room, and therefore he wouldn't have to be on a leash at all.
All right.
Can you show me where he lives?
Right here. He stays here all the time.
This is where he sleeps.
Uh-huh. He has this blanket.
Okay, now that's not a very good idea to keep a dog outside in the winter months.
Well, he's a pretty husky dog.
He's a pretty big dog. He's not quite a husky. Even huskies have a hard time sometimes over the winter months. When up here in the northern climates, when the temperature can drop to say 30 degrees below zero, their dogs suffer. And it's the ideal situation is to have the dog inside. Now, I know certain longer-haired, larger dogs get a little uncomfortable indoors.
We were going to get him a doghouse for out here later on.
Okay. Well, before you do that, I think you should consider getting a doggy door. Letting him sleep inside or outside, depending on which one he chose. And if he does sleep outside and you do decide on a doghouse, I recommend getting a good one. Okay? Not just a cardboard box.
A cardboard box isn't good enough?
No, it's not actually. What it should be is made of wood. It should have 4 sides, 4 good sound sides, and a waterproof roof to it. And it should be elevated, say 3-4 inches off the ground, at least.
Why is that?
Well, because the ground's pretty cold, and if you lift it up off the ground, you'll insulate the dog from some of that coldness coming up from the ground. And the house should be airtight, that you should turn the doorway away from the wind. Also keeps snow and rain out. And you should have a burlap sack or an old rug over the door. And the whole thing is designed to make the dog more comfortable, more warm and dry. The bedding should not be an old towel like this one here. See a towel like this? Snow falls on it, gets wet, freezes up in the middle of the night, and your dog's lying right next to a big chunk of ice. And that's not very comfortable at all. What we recommend is that you use cedar chips, hay, or a good wool blanket, and even check them periodically to make certain that they are dry.
That sounds like a good idea.
Okay, it's mainly just to keep them comfortable. And another thing, ma'am, you should always give the dog a fresh supply of water, not ice, water.
I gave him water right here this morning.
Yeah, but as you see here, that's ice. And
Well, it was fresh this morning, and I work all day.
yes, ma'am. But what a lot of people do, if they must keep a dog outside, is to buy a heated dog dish. You can get them now; they're not all too expensive. Get them in most hardware stores and probably at pet stores also. And you can set them for a fixed temperature, and the dog will constantly have a supply of water. And otherwise, it'd be like you waking up first thing in the morning, cold, wanting a drink of water because you've got a dry mouth there, and all you have is a bowl of ice.
Well, that's neat. I didn't know they had heated dog dishes.
Well, they do. Okay. Well, other than that, seems fairly healthy. Okay, can you show me Socrates, your cat?
Well, I'm not sure where she is. She just sort of roams the neighborhood.
Oh, that's not a good idea, ma'am, especially over the winter, because cats get very cold at times, and they seek a warm spot to avoid the cold. And oftentimes this is underneath the hood of a car, next to the engine. And when someone comes into a car, starts it up, cat is often mutilated by the fan belt. It
That's
happens.
awful.
It happens pretty often. And it's a good thing for anybody in cold weather who's planning on starting up their cars, especially after they've run it within the last few hours. Bang on the hood a few times first. Let the cat know that, it's time to vacate that area.
Okay.
Okay. Oh.
The other day, I saw my dog licking his paws, and it seemed like something was wrong. Could you tell me what that might have been?
Did you take him for a walk?
Well, yes, I did.
Okay. I bet that when you took him for a walk, you might have gotten close to a road where ice or rock salt or something abrasive got caught in between his toes there. See, dogs' paws can freeze over the winter if they get dipped in water and then stay out in the cold. Or rock salt and other things put on roads over the winter can get caught in between the toes, and they can be very abrasive and hurt the dogs considerably.
Well, what can I do about that?
Well, you should take a towel pretty much like this one and rub in between each toe very well after taking the dog for a walk. And the dog will probably be a lot healthier for it.
Okay.
Okay. Well, ma'am, I think I'm going to come back and see how you're doing in about a month.
About a month?
Yes, ma'am. And remember, that leash is very important. The dog must have much more room than that.
Okay, well, thanks for the tips. I'll see you later. You hear that? We're going to get you a longer leash.
The reason why we made this video was to inform people how to adequately care for their dogs and cats during the winter months. Dogs and cats can suffer needlessly over the winter if they are not provided with adequate water, food, and shelter. Just as important, they should have large amounts of attention given to them. It seems that if they don't have, say, a dog doesn't have a long enough leash that it's attached to, not enough room to move around in, it can quite literally go mad. You might consider buying your dog or cat a companion, another dog or cat, to stay with it and provide it with company when you're not around. If you are considering buying a pet and you don't think that you can provide it with the food, shelter, water, and companionship that it needs, you may not want to buy a pet.